Nothing but love and respect. You might have some cool fans, but mine are the best. We've been through it all, went to war when duty called. Never left a man behind, we move as one is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like we gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family.
Me and my fans, we don't care what anybody say. Middle fingers to whoever in the way, man. Me and my fans, we gon' be together till the grave. It's a game till forever and a day, man. Me and my fans, we don't even trip if they hate. We got all the fuck in our veins, man. Me and my fans,
We the hangover gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part? This upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance. Only at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey there, meteorologist Tuttle, back with you. It is, let's see, almost 10 minutes till 10 o'clock, so I was going to try to come on a little earlier, but just too much to do. So that's okay. I'm getting it done. It's a little breezy out there here in Oklahoma City. We have a cold front that's moved on through in the last few minutes, and we'll show you the weather details and all that and more. So thanks for joining me. Make sure you like and share this video. Tell your friends and family about AT's weather. We can get all the science-based weather information without all the hype drama. And you're getting it from a degree meteorologist, not a con artist or a faker or a wannabe, or what they called in the old days, a rip and reader. Rip and reader was someone that was on TV that just read the National Weather Service forecast. He just went to the printer, ripped it off, and then read it to you. It's kind of like the news. So, but lots changed in the last 50 years, so we can get some real weather information. So, welcome. All right, so let's see. A couple things I want to do in order. First thing, real quick, I wanted to bring your attention. Last week it was, I think, or 2 weeks ago. I can't remember because time flies in my world. We got one of these, right? NOAA Weather Radio, and many of you picked one up. So this is the one that I got. Matter of fact, I'm going to post the link here in the comment section on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you'd like to pick one up, you can do so here from my Amazon store and save you a couple bucks. And what that'll do is get you this is like the most common, most popular, least difficult to work with, all right? And it works really well. So I went through and I programmed for my county, Oklahoma County, and then I turned off all the alerts I don't want to be woken up for in the middle of the night, because there can be a lot of them. I turned them all off except for the tornado warning you can't turn off, which of course is why I have this for the wife. But yeah, you can turn off a few of those that you don't really want. So it is programmable, so make sure you pick one up if you'd like to. If you don't have a NOAA Weather Radio, you need one. Use my weather app, AT's Weather to Go, of course. It will alert you to tornadoes that develop about 15 minutes before a warning comes out. It uses proprietary algorithms, and it does a great job. Even covers tornadoes that maybe the Weather Service might miss or get triggered too late, so it's really good. So make sure you use that. Only issue is if you're sleeping and you're a hard sleeper in the middle of the night, you may not hear it go off. So it's good to have it back up here, and that's where the NOAA Weather Radio comes in. Plus, you never know, you might lose internet, from your Wi-Fi or cell phone tower at some point and not be aware of that, and that can also be a point. So we always tell you here in the weather business just to have backups, or what we call redundancy, to get your severe weather information. That way you're always covered and protected. So I want to make sure I brought that to your attention here for tonight. Now, some of you got in one of these, the Tempest weather station. So I've got here in my backyard. So it looks like that picture there on the left. You can save a few bucks with that, using that promo code if you scan that QR code. But I've got 70 degrees, so it was a great day today, but boy is it warm. Winds currently are gusting right now about the north at around 5. If you sit here and watch it long enough, they'll go even higher. And so the gusts will be shown there at the bottom of near the ticker at the bottom too as well. So I got a couple different weather stations. That's from the Davis. So we're going to have a little bit on the gusty side. If you take a look at this guy right here, you can see some winds that are a little gusty across the state. Believe it or not, A severe thunderstorm wind is 58 miles per hour. You see that 55 around Watonga? 51 near Enid? Yikes. That is some serious wind. Now you do notice this little fine line. I'll point it out for you right here. This, my friends, is the cold front that's coming on in. So the front is kind of splitting the state in half right now. It will continue to work its way to the south. Now there's no showers or storms along it. The atmosphere is too dry. The Storm Prediction Center put like a little risk possibly of a couple thunderstorms out here in eastern, northeastern Oklahoma, but the shear's poor and the still pretty dry, so it would be a struggle to get a couple of storms out there. Better dynamics are in Missouri right now, but that's kind of what's happening currently out there across the state. And if we were to look kind of at the big picture, you look at these wind gusts elsewhere. So let me see, refresh this to make sure we got the latest data that's come in. So there you go. Oh my goodness. You see this in red? This just happened. That's a wind gust of 60 miles per hour. That is a severe thunderstorm without the thunderstorm. That's crazy. All right, so you can definitely see where the cold front is as well with the arrows here on the map. It's looking something like this. La, 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 la. And this front will continue to work its way to the south tonight, clearing the state here shortly. So these strong north winds will pile in behind it. The strongest, gustiest winds are obviously going to be in this area currently and in the future. And I'll show you the forecast map for that here in a minute. Temperatures are getting a little cooler behind the front. We're into the 60s now, so it's not a huge temperature drop as so much as it is a very strong wind and a difference in like dew point values, in other words, the humidity. Now, we did get some really good rain yesterday and the day before, so when you add it all up, there were some pockets here in the yellow areas up around 4 inches. So there was at one point some, reports of water over the roadways, so you can get some flash flooding in those situations. More heavy rain down here along as far as southern Oklahoma. And as I talked about on my post earlier today on social media, down here south of Ardmore, there was a tornado warning storm that tried to work its way across the border into that area, but the tornado lifted and fizzled out, and the storm just got stuck right along the Red River and never came into that area, which is good news. But it did form the favored area we talked about for severe weather. But we really haven't had a really big day of severe weather yet. Are we going to get some? I'm already seeing the hype out there all across the internet. I'm just like, are you serious? The longer something is hyped up, the bigger the letdown. I'm just going to let you know. It always seems to work out that way in life. And I'm sure in severe weather, it's no different. There's a lot of wish casting, hype casting, I want this to happen casting, and it's so ridiculous. But the devil's in the details, and right now the devil tells you lies because we're 7 days away. But we will look at what you can decipher of what's out there. Now, if you do look at the water vapor loop, there is a nice disturbance up here to our north. You can see an enhancement in the cloud cover. Where we have this little yellow, that's a lot of dry air out there across the southern plains, because we got it all cleared out from this guy here. It took all of our moisture with it, pushing all those severe storms off the coastline. So that's why we're not getting in a lot of storms developing with this particular system. You can barely make out a little bit of moisture right here in Missouri and the far northeast Oklahoma trying to form on that front, and it's having a tough time. I mean, the closest storms are almost out of the state. So that's kind of the way it's going to be for the remainder of tonight. Okay, so if we look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, it's a jet stream pattern, and we look at the upper levels to see for our upper disturbances, well, the one's going away, one's passing to our north. You can see a lot of energy coming down, and actually what you see right here, this north to south flow, that is a dry flow. That is, if we were wintertime, that'd be a serious cold front for us. Now, that's going to be serious enough to bring a light freeze to Oklahoma. So if you haven't been watching my weathercast the last few days, you've been missing out. We've been talking about the freeze coming. So I know you planted. I know you put them out there. I did it, and I know you did it. You're going to have to bring them back in or protect them. I'll tell you when here in a minute. Meanwhile, the system, though, or the pattern will change. Big ridge out west will collapse, and a new trough will come in its place out here to the west. Let me stop this on Monday. Look at the European model currently. So an upper level low aloft, and what you get out of this is a split flow in the jet stream. So this area is your favorite zone typically for severe weather. Now we're on the very southern fringe of this come Monday. Now this is just according to the European. Now this far out, it can change. The low could end up being here, it can be here, it can be here, it can be here. But the point is, right now, we'll just go with what we have. which means we're starting to set things up for potential, just the key word potential, for severe storms back in here starting on Monday of next week. Now, if we go in through time, this actually kicks the system through right there on during the middle part of the day on Wednesday. So that would just give us a Monday, Tuesday event, and then Wednesday evening would be well east of us, and then things kind of quiet down back to a westerly flow. Maybe another system comes in later on, a few days later, but the pattern's going to be more zonal here at this point. Zonal flow is interesting for spring and the summer. It's what we call a subtle pattern, which means you can have daily, kind of like isolated severe storms in that versus a widespread, type deal, smaller magnitude events. But so the pattern is changing, and that's the truth. But as far as, like they said, the main details, we'll have to get to those a little bit later, and I'll show you that here in a second, kind of what that means for you. All right, so we did talk about the moisture coming in and leaving the state. So today we did have a little creep in the moisture with the dew points in the 50s and 60s, but that is now getting shoved to the south overnight tonight. So look at that dry air move in. Look at these dew point values. We're at 5, 6, 2, -2 degrees. Oh my goodness, -7 out here in the Panhandle, -9. This is kind of like Arctic air type dew points. This is just bone dry. You step outside, your face cracks off, falls off a whole layer. You got fresh skin underneath. That kind of deal. That's dry. But what happens is that dry air kind of hangs out. It'll moderate some a little bit, not be as potent. But if you notice, all the way up through Friday, I mean, it is dry, folks, and you're going to have to slather on that after moisture for your shower and just get that lotion all over you. The Gulf of Mexico shut down all the dew points off the coastline in the 30s. I mean, wow, this is stupid for this late in the year. But this shuts down severe weather, all right? So that's good news. So there's a catch-22 on all this. Yeah, your plants suffer a little bit, but at least you don't have to deal with tornadoes. Okay, speaking of which, so we got some storms here. So here's a look at the forecast animation here for tonight with the radar reflectivity. You can see how we are expecting at least a few storms possibly out there in the far eastern Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas, and this is a big if. I'm not very excited about it. Maybe some sprinkles elsewhere, but that's about it. Most of the storms will be far northeastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, etc. Okay, so that's it, and there's no storms out there after that for a while, so things are looking quiet. Here's a close-up view of Oklahoma itself with a high-resolution model. It doesn't even have any storms at all. It keeps it pretty quiet. But what it does do is kick up those winds. Now, it's not going to have the exact placement, but it's going to have the right idea. And that's what you always take home from a lot of this model data. Where you have it, here's the scale on the right, 50s, 60s, you get into the brown, you're from 60s to 70s. So it's got, what is that, 66, 67? That's a 70 mile per hour wind gusts down here in southwestern Oklahoma. But now remember, we're already starting to see this pop up right about in this region, right? So you can see it's just a little off-center, but it doesn't mean we can't have that here, which we obviously already are, and then we'll continue to have it down here, and even in North Texas, there's wind gusts up to around 60 plus. So the front is going to act like a severe weather maker just for some of the straight line winds that come out of it. Now, we are expecting some rain next week for a few days of the week, as we talked about. So if you look at a model blend, it looks pretty good. Rainfall amounts, hold on a second, let me update this. Let me see, does it go out far enough? Oh. Does it anything? Oh, it does not look good at all. Oh, that's so lame. Let me go farther in time. That's too short. That cuts it off too soon. Let me see if I can't get all of next week. How far can we go? To Friday. That's pretty good. Okay, so this will be for Friday, so the end of next week. All right, so that's the European model, the American model, and a blend of all the models. So you can see they're all over the place. So and that's the reason, because where they want to shift the dryline axis with that pattern in the upper levels. If the dryline axis is kind of in this area most of the time, you're going to get most of your storms east of that. So central and eastern Oklahoma. That's with the European. If we go with the GFS, it's got the dryline, looks like for the most part, kind of anchored out here. And that gives us a little bit of isolated activity here in western Oklahoma, but also more storms in central and east. Okay, and then if we go with the blended models, which takes into account some of the others, it's got the dry line probably way out here. That seems pretty far east, but that's where it has most of the rain out east of that line. So you can see, just in this early stage, where's the dry line going to be? You don't know. And so when you're trying to tell who's going to get severe weather, you don't know. You can typically bet east of I-35's got the best opportunity for showers and storms, just because it's an easy call. Trying to get it out here in the west just depends on what happens. Depends on if this line backs up all the way to Amarillo, or does it stop and put the brakes on at the Oklahoma, Texas Panhandle. So there you go. There's a lot of things that can happen. You can have the cat build in too strong, the system come in at the wrong time, come in overnight instead of during the afternoon. That limits severe weather. You can have the dry line obviously not set up in the right spot. You can have dew points too low. Gulf of Mexico didn't quite open up as much. Air mixed out too much. You can have some little mini subsidence areas from prior showers before. There's all kinds of, and maybe it's to stabilize the atmosphere. There's just all kinds of stuff that can happen. So remember, anytime you hear all this gloom and doom, grain of salt. Okay, so we talked about the freeze last few days, how the April first week is for most of the state on average is about the time that we would see those numbers start to stop falling below 32. But again, maybe not necessarily the case. Just looking at the European data alone does indicate here by Saturday morning, we should have at least a frost and possibly even a freeze as far south here as Oklahoma City. These little darker green areas to the blue, that's where temperatures are getting pretty dangerously close to the freezing point. So if you live in a low-lying valley, light winds, clear skies, you know what to do. Protect those plants. All right, temperature-wise, the next few days, watch out. Friday morning is cold too, but not as cold as Saturday. Daytime highs in the 60s next few days. Then the weekend looks absolutely great as far as daytime highs go into early next week. Even the morning lows come up from all the increase in moisture around here. And then all the rain, of course, and the next cold front that comes in. So it all depends on the timing of that system. Remember right now that one model said it comes through on Wednesday, dropping temperatures a little bit for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Overnight lows back into the 40s. And of course, this will kill any severe weather for the latter part of the week. Just kind of keep it for the first part, if it even happens. And I say if because there's a lot of uncertainty. So this is from the Storm Prediction Center, and they have currently a slight risk of severe weather on Monday, 4/11. On Tuesday, they don't have anything. This little panel right here is just cut off your map, but it says predictability too low. And honestly, even that's for Monday as well. They just know, they recognize the patterns. They know there will be some severe weather, but this is going to have to be redrawn 10 different times between now and then to fine-tune things. So if we do look at the overall broad picture, this is Sunday. So what we end up with is a little surface low develops out here in the Panhandle-ish region because we're not really sure where the low is going to set up. You have this trough axis here in the blues. This is a dip in the jet stream pattern that comes down like this, right? And now this is a ensemble blend, so it's not going to show you the subtle details. It'll just show you a really overly smooth pattern change or recognition. So this kind of puts us in what we call a southwest flow. I'll show you that here in a second. But that is Sunday. Monday doesn't really change much. Tuesday doesn't really change much. And then there's Wednesday where the front looks like it's coming through as the system presses on by. If you look at, we'll go to this guy here. And long-range forecasters, what they look at these type of maps to get a look at the pattern and how it may be changing. To get a look at how things will go. So if we go through time here, so we'll animate the jet stream, we're looking at the winds aloft. So there's Sunday. So Sunday we already have what we call this southwest flow starting to shape up. Now, for Oklahoma's sake, it's a little more too far to our north. Now, this is just based off just the European model, by the way. Each model is going to be a little bit different. So we head to Monday evening. And we're kind of on the tail end of the jet stream now, still mostly to our north, but we still have that southwest flow, and this is your back end trough axis. So what happens is, until this trough axis here clears Oklahoma, until it moves east, you have moisture that comes in from the Gulf of Mexico, comes in like so, and like I said, you're going to have some area of low pressure that develops somewhere in this area, and you're going to have a dry line to work with that's going to separate the moist air from the dry air. So that's the typical pattern setup in this. It's very generic. There's no details. It's just we know that's what it does. And we know if things can time out right and all these other ingredients can come together, then you can have some severe weather. Let's see. If I go through time, let's go to Tuesday morning to Tuesday afternoon. Jet stream sags a little bit more south over Oklahoma. So in theory, our threat of severe weather would go up, so we're better positioned. All right, let me go to Wednesday into Wednesday afternoon. Okay, so Wednesday afternoon, here's your trough axis. And if you can tell, it is now pressed through central Oklahoma. Now, that means all of your inclement weather is going to have to be on the east side of this trough axis, in this kind of a favored position here. So on Wednesday afternoon, it may mean eastern Oklahoma, like the eastern third, still has a chance to see some severe weather, but the rest of the state is, it's over with. And again, it all depends on the timing of that trough axis when it kicks through. And we're on the back end of it the rest of the week. And if we keep going further in time, let me keep going all the way to the end of this. We go all the way to the end. You're going to see this kind of a subtleness to the ridge and then a little subtle to the trough. So it's almost a zonal flow. Zonal flow is west to east. So we're looking at just it kind of just bumps up and comes down. So what this means is we're in a very weak northwesterly flow aloft. And the northwesterly flow aloft, these little wind barbs here, are in a northwesterly direction. Okay, they go from top left to bottom right. Now, what happens is, if you can get moisture return, you can still get some setup with the dry line, et cetera, et cetera. You have a little extra spin in the atmosphere. You don't have any huge wind speed to really move things, which means these storms are slow moving and they don't cover a lot of ground. So, for example, let's just say, let's see, what can I show you here? So let's go to 360. By the way, we're way out in time. This is April 20th, by the way, just to show you what the models hint may be the pattern at that point in time. Now, we're talking long-term forecasting. I'm giving you the back end, the scoop, telling you the ins and outs. Let's see here. Let's go to dew point. Oh, this is terrible. Oh my gosh. See, that's the mean. Let me go. Let me go to. Forget it. Let's just do the mean. Alright, so this is an example of how this pattern can either produce or it can be very calm and tranquil. Just depends. In this particular case, it still has, and this again could change 1,000 different times because we're, good grief, for 15 days away. But what it is showing is that the Gulf of Mexico, that's where all the moisture is, trapped down here, this low 60 dew points. We don't have any moisture up here in Oklahoma. You're not getting any severe weather in that pattern as long as this is occurring. Look at the whole country, man. Into Canada. Dew points everywhere in the teens and 20s and 30s for April the 20th? Unheard of. So this pattern is a death blow to severe weather lovers. Sometimes it can be a godsend if it's a zonal flow and you have a weak northwest flow, but the Gulf of Mexico is open. Right now, it's closed, at least in this tonight's snapshot. I would expect, again, this thing to flip-flop all over the place over the next coming days. But if you know about long-term, that is long-term. Okay, so I want to give you the scoop. I want to give you the real deal. I want to tell you what the truth was, so that you don't have to sit there and be freaked out from somebody saying, get ready, get ready, get ready. Okay, thanks for that. I will be doing a weather talk, which is kind of like a weather classroom. I usually give these a couple times a year. I usually go out in some community. I'm invited, then I speak to emergency management group or just some certain body that's interested. So this time around, and I still may do that this year, but what I'm going to do, I haven't done before, and that is I'm going to do a weather talk here on Facebook. And it's going to be on an invite, so like a event, all right? So I'm going to create an event. So if you are a Facebook fan subscriber or any other supporter from Patreon to all the others that are listed, which, by the way, where's my little deal here? Copy this. I'm going to put the link here. So these are the different options you can use to support. But for those of my supporters, you're going to get to attend this for free. And I'll have it multicasted through the Facebook closed group page, through the fan subscription page, and through probably the event invite deal. I got to see how Facebook does those. So I haven't done this before. And that way, it's going to be about a 30-minute presentation, 35 I think roughly, and then a Q&A after. So the whole thing is probably about an hour. Very beneficial for the kids, very beneficial if you've just moved to Oklahoma and you don't know anything about anything. If you're just a weather lover, then definitely you're going to want to do this. Now, I was going to do it around the 12th or 13th. Of course I was. But if we have tornadoes that day or severe weather, obviously I'm not going to do it. So I'll put it off until that little upper trough that I talked about with you just a minute ago moves to the east, and then we can do it. So that may end up being Thursday. So I'm probably going to do it Thursday versus the Tuesday or Wednesday again, not this week. Yeah, because I'm like, okay, what day is today? So not this week, but the following week. So look for the invite. I'll put it all together on Facebook and put it on the other social media accounts. If you're watching on Rumble, YouTube, or Twitter, you can still get a chance to participate. Okay, and then the other thing is, if you're not getting updates, many of you keep doing this, which is great. I'm going to post it on here again. If you're having trouble getting notified either late or just not at all, when I do go live, you can hit the opt-in here through Facebook, and I'll let you know through your Facebook Instant Messenger every time I go live, so you don't miss anything. Earlier I talked about the Tempest. If you didn't have a chance to like snag a QR code, you want the discount, you can hit this link. Let's see, a lot of you are now starting to pick up because it's springtime. My weather gear. So if you want to do that, just post a link there on Facebook. And then I think that's all of that. And then tomorrow, last announcement here is tomorrow, you can have a chance to win. I think it's a $600 Pit Boss pellet smoker. And you're going, well, how do I do that? For those of you folks that have stuck around through this weather broadcast to now, you get to find out. So all you gotta do is tune in to me tomorrow evening around 8 o'clock. I'm going to do a Facebook Live, and it'll also be on YouTube. So it'll be on those two platforms only. It won't be on Rumble or Twitter, but it'll be on those two platforms. And you can submit your questions, and we're going to do a live interview and Q&A with my sponsor, Ferguson Roof Systems. And you're going to be able to ask them anything and everything about roofing, from con artists to what to watch for, to insurance, to does the company have to be licensed? I mean, anything you can think of when it comes to roofing. If it's okay, if your deductible is paid, whatever you got to come up with. The shingles, what's the skinny on shingles? Does it really matter? I mean, all those type of questions, whatever you come up with, we're going to do that for Facebook Live and YouTube. So we're going to post those on the screen during the live interviews. This will be tomorrow evening right here at 8 o'clock Central Time. So make sure you join me for that, and then enter your name for the giveaway. So that's going to be really important. Ed, I see your comment on YouTube. He's already salivating. He wants some barbecue. So I get it, man. $600 grill, that's a pretty good deal. Anyway, so make sure you join us for that. I'll do a quick blog post about it, and I'll do another. There's a post already on my Facebook wall about it, so you can do that too. Okay, so I think I've covered everything. There's nothing else I can think of that I haven't done. Let me load up the Facebook video here real quick. If you have any questions for me, shoot them real quick. I can't see. I just loaded it on my phone, so if you ask me anything earlier, I won't be able to scroll to see it, but you can do it now. And you can let me know what question that you had. I tried to cover the pertinent stuff here for tonight, and then also for obviously next week, since people are interested in that. By the way, thank you for the stars tonight, so appreciate that as always. So we covered the weather radio, the interview for tomorrow, the weather talk I'll be doing on a live event here for Facebook. So those are, I think, the biggest things that I've mentioned, and then you're going to see a lot of hype for next week for severe weather. I discussed that, and I told you what the general pattern is and what to watch out for that can really mess things up to not get much action. And then that way you don't have to go to bed panicking. Amy, I see your comment. So I think that's it there. Let me check you guys real quick on YouTube. By the way, thanks for you guys on Rumble that are checking in and watching. I know we're just now getting going over there on that platform, and Rumble is not heavy in weather, so I'm trying to make it a little heavier in weather. And I'm working with the guys over at Rumble directly, which is pretty cool. So they're being really nice to me. Same thing with Gab. I'm trying to get them to get their live server going so I can go live over there. But right now I just upload videos after it's over on Gab. So I'm trying to reach many platforms as I can to reach as many people as I can. But Rumble's still getting better with their live video. So we'll see how that goes over the coming weeks here during severe weather season. I'm trying to think. I'm going to be building a new gaming machine. But this was a end of 2013, early 14 gaming machine that I'm broadcasting on that I had to build back then, which they didn't really call it a gaming machine back then. That really wasn't a thing. But I needed it to be a thing because I had to do all this craziness. And today I realized when I was working on a lot of stuff to get ready for the interview tomorrow and for the live broadcast I'll do for your weather presentation, it was showing its age. I'm just like, please, just a little while longer. You can do it. Just crank it out. So I'm gonna have to go and buy a lot of parts to build a new one, and the chip nightmare and the GPUs and everything has been a problem lately. So we're gonna be putting that together. So if you'd like to support me, I put that link on there on the donate support. Anything you want to throw at me, that's great, because I think I was able to build my last system. Wasn't that much. I want to say it was, I'm trying to go off of memory, like maybe $1,500. Now 2014, $1,500 was probably a lot of money, in the computer world. But now, oh my gosh, just one component I need is more than $1,500. I'm just like, oh my gosh. So anyway, I got to be doing that, but that's good because I need it for the next 8 years. That's going to entail all things that we don't even know about when it comes to this space of social media. I'm going to try to increase the number of accounts I broadcast to. So in other words, my goal here is to keep it on the same 4. I'm hoping that now that Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, that he's going to get that thing going for supporting creators better and live functionality and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see what he does with that. But so we'll see. I'll still keep with Twitter unless I have to drop it. But I'll do that, and then Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and then Gab TV. And then by then, I'm sure in the next 8 years, there'll be another platform that so many people migrate to do live weather. These are all on aspect ratios of 1980 by 1080p. To do live on like TikTok or Instagram is an issue because it's a vertical resolution. And as you know, I show a lot of mute this. It's annoying. I show a lot of maps and stuff that require the full wide scale view, old school, television HD. So for me to do the live on those at the same time, it's unless they change something there, which they probably will over the next 8 years, it's gonna be hard for me to do simulcasting in that space as well. But I gotta figure something out because that's where all the new kids are coming up from, and we gotta give them accurate weather without all the drama. Man, the winds are howling out there. Woo, I can hear them. Just had a wind gust of 34. I wonder what the biggest winds were. Hold on a sec. I'm just gonna look at something. Let me go back to that map I had a minute ago. So I was just talking, and then that's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. Okay, so 60 was still the number to beat. 47, 48, 54. Okay. So we're still windy, but not as windy as it was earlier. Okay. But it's getting windy at my house. Man, 32. So we'll see what I end up with. Yeah. Anyway, so squirrel. I see a lot of squirrels. Oh, by the way, I did mention this on my post tonight. If you missed it, COVID pricing. Oh my gosh. Amber, yeah, you're good in Tulsa. There's not gonna be any storms there. David, I don't chase anymore. I used to. The El Reno tornado was the last time I storm chased, and I won't be chasing since. But thanks for asking. Okay, so what was I gonna say? Hold on, it was something. What was I gonna talk about? Ugh. Seriously. Oh, my post from last night. Or earlier tonight. So I didn't do any storm coverage last night for like the tornadoes in North Texas. I was actually going to, but then I was doing my prep for my colonoscopy that I had today. When you realize you're doing those preps, you really can't. So I didn't, which was a smart play on my end. So I didn't do any lives last night. I don't think it'd been possible, not to get too graphic. But that was the end with that. By the way, I just pulled up the radar here for Tulsa real quick since you asked. So your cold front right now is moving in. I can't. Where's my arrows? Yeah. It's already past you. Okay, good. I thought the front was already past you. Let me see. Where is the front? Where's the? It's hard to see these here. Yeah. It's okay. So it's way past Tulsa. So you got some elevated, couple of thunderstorms, a couple of showers right here, just east of Tulsa, going out 412, and these will be working their way to the south and also off to the east. But they've got a long way to go to become a thunderstorm, and an even longer way to go to become severe. And by all that time, all that happens, this is Tulsa County. You are free in the clear. All right, so that was into that. So Cindy, yeah. All right, but here's what I'll tell you though. If you didn't read my post, what I was going to tell you was they found a polyp, which I was surprised. I'm like, really? He says, yeah. He says, most people, this is where he brags on himself. He says, some people would have missed it, but I didn't. I'm like, well, I hope none of you doctors would miss it. You're kind of in there with a camera, you know. Anyway, it was flat. That's why he almost missed it, but then he caught it because it was flat, so it was really hard to see. Whatever that means. So anyway, he ended up cutting it off, and I was going to send it in for the biopsy, but he just said it was a good thing he got it because it was, I think, 10 millimeters in size. So it was a small one, so that's good. So caught it early, which is the whole point of getting this done. I know nobody wants to do it because the whole idea is invasive, right? And your orifice should not be invaded. It's an exit-only region for most people. Anyway, so yeah, so I get it. Plus that stuff you got to drink. Now I took there's like two different things you can take, two kinds that they usually prescribe, or you can do the over-the-counter, more natural, easier going one with Gatorade and stuff. So the wife is going to do that one. I opted for the other one, which wasn't bad. It's just after a while you get really tired of drinking it. But anyway, so that was kind of the deal with that. And then it was really quick. I mean, you're out. You don't remember anything. Come to, I think the whole thing was only like 20 minutes. So 61 is now the number to beat. So the winds are cranking out here. It's at Blaine County, out west of the metro, so just west of El Reno. Did it show up over here? So right around, looks like that was Binger and Anadarko. It's like that, probably a mezzanine site near Binger that hit that 61 mile per hour wind out here. So it's pretty impressive. All right, but anyway. So Noah, you still hearing the crackling? I'm gonna have to check into that. So I'll see if I can't track that down. So it's happening tonight, huh? Jolene, no, I did not mention the doctor. But anyway, all right. So, but the good news is I got it done, and they found something, they cut it out, and so now I'm good. Don't have to worry about colon cancer from that aspect. I think I got to go back in 6 months just to make sure it's all healed and nothing else happened. Then after that, I think you're on a regular schedule anyway. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's once a year, once every 5 years. They kind of keep changing the guidance on all that. So I know it doesn't grow excessively fast in that area usually. So that's probably why they had the original guidance of 10 years, I think, or then 5. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. So I'll discuss that with him. But just to let you know, I'm good, and I'm glad I went. And you should do it too if you haven't, especially as you get close to 50. I think they kind of lowered the age to like 45. So if you're right around that age, it's time. It's time to be alien probed, but for good reason. All right, listen, I gotta get out of here. You guys have been great. Thanks again for watching, sharing, liking, all that kind of stuff. Your support, no matter if it's just for liking something, leaving comments, or if you financial support, doesn't matter to me. Support is support, so I appreciate it all. All right, guys, sleep well, and we shall see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock, right here. All right, take care.